Night descended on the dark forests, enveloping them in wet darkness. The highway, which runs through a dense wall of trees, has become deserted. There are only twinkling lights on the horizon, lonely cars rushing home after a hard day. But this peace was an illusion. Something sinister was awakening in the forest. Anya drove her car along a dark road. She was a traveler who was used to being alone on the roads. This evening, however, something was wrong. The stars hid behind the clouds, as if anticipating something ominous. Driving past an old abandoned estate, Anya noticed an unusual glow among the trees. Making a quick decision to look around, she turned off the highway onto a narrow lane. The light from the headlights illuminated the abandoned alley, recalling the darkness that had possessed this place for many years. Approaching the fork, Anya noticed strange footprints on the road, traces of blood leading deeper into the forest. Her heart skipped a beat. Deciding that someone might need help, she followed the tracks, and the shadow of the mist engulfed her car. As Anya moved deeper into the forest, she felt that something ominous was weaving in the air around her. The winds became whispering shadows, harbingers of something dark and sinister. But she kept moving forward, as if something unknown was pushing her towards the source of the mystery. After a while, she found herself in front of an ancient castle that stood in the gloom like the ghost of ancient nightmares. But instead of retreating, Anya entered the castle arch, where she was greeted by a fragrance. Real and insidious, the smell of blood. Dark figures stepped out of the shadows. Vampires, with icy eyes and pale faces, came to life in the dim light. They were like ghosts materializing from nightmares to devour all the light in this world. "You came like everyone else, despite the warnings," one of them hissed, covering his mouth with his hand, as if ashamed of his own appearance. Anya felt fear constrict her throat, but curiosity and a sense of duty won out. "Well, what's going on here? Why are you here? What is it?" she asked, trying to suppress the tremor in her voice. The vampires told her their story. The castle was their last refuge from the age-old war with humans. They lived here, isolated from the world, trying to maintain their cursed existence. But something has changed. Recently, they began to feel the approach of a powerful force, something that lured them into the dark depths of the forest. Anya became a player in their ancient battle. She was an unwitting part of the prediction that the legends talked about. The vampires needed her help to survive the new threat. But they also brought with them the shadow of betrayal and evil that is hidden in the depths of their existence. She was trapped in the darkness between two worlds where good and evil were intertwined, and her fate became inextricably linked to the fate of the vampires and their castle. The vampires warned her that a mysterious force approaching was capable of destroying everything that had ever existed, and only with its help could they find the answer to the question of how to stop this catastrophic end. Thus began their story together, in which darkness and light mingled in a dangerous dance. But the question remained in there: who or what summoned this force? And what terrible secrets hides the past of this ancient castle? Over time, Anya began to realize that the vampires hadn't told her the whole truth. Secret shadows flickered in their eyes, and their answers to her questions were vague and evasive. The castle seemed to be riddled with magic and fear, but instead of finding answers, Anya faced new questions. She discovered ancient scrolls and texts stored in the intricate corridors of the castle, and in them she found strange references to a creature forgotten for eternity. It was something that even vampires feared, something that lay dormant in the darkest depths of the castle. That mysterious power that the vampires were talking about was connected to this forgotten creature. Climbing higher up the castle steps, Anya discovered a forgotten room sealed with ancient magic. When she opened the door, she was confronted by an exemplary preserved ancient evil a traitor vampire who vowed to return and end the vampire race. Vampires began to reveal their past secrets, and Anya learned that they were not created for evil, but out of the need for survival. The treacherous vampire, exiled centuries ago, sought revenge on his creators and destroyed all his relatives. Now, facing the one who promised them the end, the vampires were caught in a web of their own contradictions. Anya became the center of the struggle between good and evil, the worlds of the living and the dead, the past and the future. And that mysterious force approaching the castle was an inevitable symbol of the coming battle. While the castle was plunging into chaos and foreboding, Anya realized that her fate had become inextricably linked to their fate. She had to accept her place in the Shadow Theater in order to find answers and prevent the inevitable catastrophic event from happening. Thus, she went into the depths of the castle, into unexplored dark corners, to uncover all the secrets that this ancient castle had hidden for centuries. There were trials full of horror and magic ahead of her, but she was determined to go all the way, even if it meant becoming the key to solving or the victim of a terrible riddle immersed in the darkness of the past and the mystery of the dark future. Peering into the gloom of the castle, Anya realized that there was something much more powerful and sinister in it than she had imagined. With every step she took, she felt the castle waking up, like an ancient voice silently beckoning her deeper into its dark interior. In rooms forgotten by time, she found evidence of the past, parchments with mysterious symbols, statues, something chained to the wall, appealing to unknown forces. Anya realized that her journey had become not just a concern for the survival of vampires, but an exploration of ancient magics and dark secrets hidden in this forgotten castle. As the night deepened, the castle came to life. Shadows rose from the walls, and the images in the old paintings moved as if coming to life. Anya felt the air filling with energy, as if the castle itself was calling out to her strength. Following in the footsteps of the traitor, she found a secret passage leading into the darkness of the dungeon, where, according to legends, the most terrible creatures hid. She could hear the whispers of ancient souls trapped in this place by eternal damnation. With every step she took, she realized that she was facing not only enemies from the past, but also the very essence of evil that permeated these walls. Meanwhile, the vampires remained waiting, in impotent anticipation of what was happening inside the castle. They saw Anna not only as an ally, but also as the embodiment of their hope for survival. But no matter how carefully they tried to hide their anxiety, a shadow of doubt flickered in their eyes. Decisive moments awaited Anya ahead, a meeting with a traitor, the solution of ancient riddles, a clash with dark forces that had awakened her own thirst for research. But the most important question remained unanswered. What role did she have in the Shadow Theater? And what horror awaited at the end of this gloomy symphony? The answers seemed lost in the darkness of the past, and only future events could reveal the truth, or absorb it, like those who had previously set foot on this path. Amidst the sounds of an ancient castle and the whispers of dark forces, Anya reached her goal. In the dungeon, in the embrace of darkness, she encountered a traitorous vampire whose shadow had haunted his family for centuries. The fires of magic flashed in their fight. The cries of the disappeared souls found a temporary embodiment, and the castle trembled under the influence of ancient forces. But when the battle was cursed over, and darkness once again enveloped the mysterious corridors of the castle, Anya realized that the horror she had awakened could not be defeated. The mysterious entity in the depths of the dungeon was stronger than her imagination and will. With the traitor's eyes extinguished, the last hope for vampire survival disappeared. The castle witnessed their demise, and its dark walls absorbed the last drops of life left in this cursed place. But as the last act of this tragedy unfolded, Anya realized that she had become something more than just a witness or participant. Her own research, passion, and curiosity turned her into an instrument of evil, a force that awakened an ancient threat. The castle engulfed her consciousness, and the shadows of antiquity flickered in her own eyes. Her body became part of the walls, and her soul was trapped inside, releasing the dark forces that tore the veil between the living and the dead. This is how the story ended, mixed up in the dark mysteries of the past and by forces beyond human understanding. The castle, like an ominous monument, ascended into the sky, shrouding the world in darkness. And its darkness became the legacy of those who decided to enter its labyrinths. This is how the saga of vampires, Anya and the ancient castle ended, a saga that left only dark memories and an eternal whisper of dark forces trapped in this ancient place. And now, everyone who touches its stone walls will feel the breath of antiquity enveloping their souls.